Is 2023 of Apex Legends going to be the same game that it was in 2022? Today we are going to take a look at whether or not Apex Legends is simply just in for another year, as 2022 did not do much to the game. It didn't push boundaries and it was very safe in terms of its content. What happened last year and what can we expect with this coming year? And overall, how can we just get the narrative of Apex Legends to be a little bit more positive than it is right now? There's a lot of people talking a lot of negativity about Apex, which, you know, I don't want to see. I love the game. Many people are just straight up calling the game dead, right? I think it's worth mentioning that Apex Legends is not a dead game. I mean, what does a dead game even mean? For me, if a game is dead, that means basically no one is playing it. Apex Legends could be deemed a declining game right now because player base is dropping a little bit, and we are also in the dead part of a season. But Season 15's launch with a brand new map was one of the quietest and least successful seasons that we've had for a new season in a while. And overall, Apex Legends is a less socially talked about game right now. There's definitely a lot more negativity around the game than I would say there was like a year or two ago. And this even includes when there was a huge amount of cheaters back in the mid days of 2021. If you are unaware, you can actually look on Google Trends and YouTube search trends to see how many people are or are not searching for a game. And this is kind of a tell as to how many people are interested in Apex Legends or any game really. At the end of it all though, Apex is not a dead game. In the social or Twitter or Reddit or whatever platform presence you're looking at, it's a really small portion of the overall community, and negativity is always very loud, as content people are generally not going to be as vocal. That being said though, there's a lot of improvement to be had for 2023 of Apex Legends. 2022 of Apex Legends did start off in Season 11 where we got that new weapon, the Car SMG, we got the new Legend Ash, and we did get the new map of Stormpoint. Every single season though in 2022 that actually launched was pretty simple. New legend, some changes or lack thereof, and then a couple collection events so we could all spend over $300 on pixels if we wanted to. 2022 marks the first entire calendar year where we had no new weapons launch in the calendar year of the game. In Season 15, we saw pretty much no legend changes at all, but we did get the new map of Broken Moon, which I think for the most part was a success, but it was overshadowed by a ton of issues that we're going to get to individually. Additionally, 2022 did really not do anything to change the game. At least in 2021, we had Season 9, which was a massive season, a brand new way to play Apex with arena mode. Whether that was a success or not is not really the point, but either way, there was a huge push behind Season 9. We didn't really have that in any season in 2022. In fact, between Mad Maggie, Newcastle, Vantage, and Catalyst, the 4 new legends of the year, I would really only say Newcastle has actually changed the way the game is played, as the other legends are not quite as top tier meta, and frankly, they can kind of be forgotten about, and if they were ripped from the game right now, the game isn't going to change. They are good additions to the game as a whole because they do fill certain little spots of cool gameplay that we didn't have, but it just does not do anything to really the meta of the game. Before moving on into the specific areas and issues and improvements that I do want to see, I think I'll say for 2022 Apex Legends, it's a fine year. I would give it something like a B+ rating, which is good to great, but definitely not amazing in terms of the content we actually got. Apex for me is still an A+ S tier game when it comes to its gameplay. It's just the content that we are getting around the game is not great, and if it doesn't get corrected, then perceptions and the interestingness of the game is definitely going to be a little bit lost. I think it's worth starting off with the cosmetics, customization, and ways to express yourself. As a whole, cosmetics are not really that important, but expressing yourself in the game is actually very critical. It needs to be better. Skins in Apex Legends are already very expensive. I'm not sure why we are at the point where you gotta buy 10 Apex packs with some sort of skin just to get that skin that you want. Not only is this already really expensive to buy, but now it's even more expensive because they are forcing you to upcharge with 10 Apex packs. And the majority of players don't really even want Apex packs, I would say, because it's all RNG. You're gonna get 10 crap items. Heirlooms are definitely a huge problem though. 160 or so US dollars for a cool thing that you spin around. I'm not really sure about this. I'd love to see a huge price cut and just have you be able to buy it outright, and then give us some sort of other perks if you do decide to spend the whole $160 to unlock the entire collection event. There's got to be better solutions so you can get heirlooms with a little less money. Pack dilution, I do want to bring up. We are to the point where there are so many gray and blue crap items that no one wants. It is absolutely wild. Every new legend means hundreds more garbage items, which is a massive problem, and we need more crafting materials or a rewritten system, in my opinion. The easiest thing that I could think of is just adding a challenge system into the game where you can do hundreds of challenges and you get crafting material rewards for doing that, like 100 kills, 1,000 kills, 50 kills on this legend, 50 kills with this gun. There's so many options that you could do to get crafting items, so you can simply just catch up on unlocking a ton of items. At the launch of Season 15, I did see some talking about how stickers dilute the loot pool, and this is bad, and I do absolutely agree. But we're talking about like 20 or so stickers that come into the game, and at the moment, there's literally thousands and thousands and thousands of trash items. So 20 more stickers seems really weird to harp on when a new legend comes into the game. That is way more damaging than 20 stickers could ever be. So what is going to be the solution to the cosmetics? The game needs to make money. It's how all the Respawn employees get paid. It's how EA gets paid. And it is a business. You got to think about it as a business, not quite as much as a game. There has to be alternative ways for EA and Respawn to make money. That seems like a start. Maybe some sort of voluntary premium membership where players can pay X dollars a month to get coins, skins, other perks, maybe some sort of exclusive thing in game. Less greedy and more toxic practices are for sure a start as well. Less combo skin pack items need to happen as well. I, of course, don't have all the answers. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know how you think Apex could start to fix their cosmetic system, as I do think it needs a pretty wild and huge rework, and it's very outdated at the moment. Of course, cosmetics are purely cosmetic. They don't really do anything for the game, but it is a very important part of the game because it is where we spend our real life money. But I do want to move on to new content and specifically talking about the legends and the weapons. Not a lot to say about the new legends and weapons. We definitely need more weapons from time to time. I do think the weapon pool is healthy, but not getting a new gun to change how we play feels pretty bad. I don't think we need to stop getting new legends though, and even if they aren't massively changing the game, they are still good to have, so I would love to continue to see this. I think tweaking the newest legend to be slightly stronger absolutely is a must. Not per se Seer OP or Horizon OP, but still, the new legend needs to be good enough to have it be usable. Too many new legends come into the game being a little bit too weak, and after a week, no one's really using them because of this. I would much rather have Respawn introduce a new legend that is crazy good, and they know it's going to be crazy good, and then they slightly tweak them down maybe like 2 to 3 weeks later. As for guns though, there needs to just be better ways to rotate weapons in and out of the loot pool. In 2023, the rumor is that we're going to be getting pistols as a starting weapon. This would remove the pistol from the ground loot. I think this would be pretty good. Crafter and care package are of course a good way to fix the loot pool a little bit, but there isn't quite enough options here. I think for the weapons as a whole, they're doing a fine job, but I don't love that 2022 saw a step back in terms of actual new stuff and new weapons being released when it does come to the weapons. I would much rather have them take 2 or 3 guns out for a season and keep having them add new guns into the game. Probably my biggest critique of the previous year is the overall gameplay updates that we are getting. I don't want to lose what makes Apex great, but we need to have more updates to the weapons and legends to make the game feel fresh. Multiple months of Seer spam, Valkyrie spam, Horizon spam with no changes definitely leaves me puzzled. There's a lot of legends who have never really ever had a moment to shine on top, and it would be pretty cool if every season or two we could have meaningful gameplay updates that just change the way things are. Absolutely nothing has to stay forever, and I think we can make updates without destroying the integrity of the game. You don't need to nerf legends into the ground, but I would much rather see other legends become a little bit better just so we can fight against different legends from time to time, because seeing the same characters over and over definitely makes the game feel a little stale. For me, it is absolutely unacceptable to have a season launch where you have pretty much no changes to the legends like Season 15 did. This is a huge L in my opinion, and it's a big misstep. As for the map updates of the game, I'm going to be 50-50 on this. In 2022, we saw some good sizable map updates, which hasn't really happened a ton in the previous year. We did get Olympus with some nice reworks to Terminal and Phase Runner areas, and on Kings Canyon, we saw Skulltown return in some fashion. I think more meaningful POI updates during the mid-season, though, is a must. The changes of Down Beast on Stormpoint and that Lifeline POI on Olympus, it's cool, but these updates are so small that they are pretty forgettable after the first day of their release. Additionally to this, though, there's a lot of updates some of those older maps could definitely get, and having more frequent updates is gonna be needed. Now that there is 5 maps in the rotation, it needs to happen more often, or we could go a very long time without getting any map adjustments whatsoever under the current system. For me, I think it's gonna have to be double. 2 POI updates a season, 1 with each collection event or on separate weeks times would be cool, so we get a season launch, then maybe 3 weeks later we get a thematic event, 2 or 3 weeks later we get a map update, 2 or 3 weeks later we get another thematic event, and then 2 or so weeks later we get another map update. This would keep people coming back into the game, and it would be nice to have a more regular flow of content. The engine and graphical updates. This is a massive undertaking, but it seems like it needs to happen. Less so on the graphical or fidelity updates, which would be cool, but more so on having just a stable Apex experience. I am not a game developer, but I have lived a little bit inside of engines and that type of thing, so I do understand a little bit. What Apex runs on is an evolution of the Source engine from 2004. 2004, think about that. That was right around when something like Xbox Live and internet console gaming just started to take off, let alone we've gone through 4 or so generations of consoles, let alone incredible advances in PC hardware. Audio fixes for me are going to be a huge priority. This massively affects how the game is played. If you think about it, audio in some ways is more important than even the visuals. Obviously, you need to see it to shoot the enemies, but you're just looking in one direction and you can only get the information that you're looking at. Audio, however, is coming in from 360 degrees around you, up, down, and everywhere else. And this not being consistent is a huge way just to make fights feel very inconsistent. And inconsistency is really the big problem. It seems rock solid at this point that the audio isn't going to get any better under the current engine. Conflicts between multiple audio sources like the ring being nearby, and abilities seemingly masking gunshots at time, footsteps, and more can lead to poor experiences in game. And while I am speaking a little out of turn here, the engine I'm sure has something to do with this. Graphical updates would of course also be good, but it's not as necessary right now, but we do want to look into the future. Apex is a 4-year-old game, not too old in the grand scheme of things, but there will become a time it's gonna run and feel pretty old compared to other modern day games, especially when you do look at something that is truly next gen like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's campaign, for instance. And of course, you do have other games, competitors like Fortnite, which are constantly updating the graphical engines and just overall making the game more polished. If you look at Fortnite when it launched, say 5 or 6 years ago, and you look at it right now today, the amount of graphical updates is alarming. 2022 did see some nice new game modes of Control and Gun Run coming in, and they're pretty cool. Plus, we did get Shadow Royale coming back, and of course, the Christmas event coming back. I love the new modes, but I will have to say, when I said I wanted more LTMs like a year ago, I meant I want more ways to play the game the majority of us play, the Battle Royale. The spin-off modes are good, and we need to get them, but more modes like Second Chance and other stuff like Flashpoint, I think is where the focus needs to be. The last core mode to be added into Apex Legends was really Arenas 18 to 19 months ago, and this was not even a Battle Royale mode, of course. But before this, we had duos come into the game, and that's about it. Think about that. We've been playing these same modes with really no additions or innovations or any sort of changes for nearly 3 years. And since the Season 8 fiasco where we were supposed to get 4 LTMs in the span of 2 to 3 weeks, LTMs for the Battle Royale absolutely fell off. More Battle Royale LTMs need to happen. I would argue a weekly rotating permanent playlist needs to absolutely be a thing. This would be a start, and it seems like this is the easiest thing for them to do. It doesn't take a ton of work, I imagine, to incorporate the modes you already had thought of. So there you go. On the topic of game modes, let's briefly talk about matchmaking. I want to take a very quick second to mention pubs and ranked. I think pubs are cool, but definitely toned down SBMM would be absolutely necessary. Skill-based matchmaking destroys public match games. When I play with my friends who are far less skilled, the experience for them is miserable to the point where they don't play the game anymore, and this needs to happen right now. Other than this though, I think pubs are pretty good. They're pretty fast, everyone pushes, and it's great to learn and build mechanical skill. If anything though, maybe some sort of bigger and better reward for winning should be in the game. Like getting 100 wins a season gets you this, or getting 1,000 lifetime wins gets you this. Just more ways to somewhat prioritize it and emphasize players winning over just throwing to get 1 kill. As for ranked, a complete rework would be cool just to make it more meaningful, and I think better ways to identify the skill of Smurfs would be nice so we aren't seeing Bronze to Predator 1,000 times on Twitch and other areas. In this way, those lower ranks actually have competitive matches, so a Platinum player isn't playing in a Pred lobby either through poor matchmaking or some upper tier player just smurfing their way through Bronze up to Predator. I think beyond this though, ranked does play fine, even though I would like to see some nice reworks to shake it up. The most important factor of the game though, in my opinion at least, is that the game needs to have a little bit more fun factor, and if you are having fun, then my random words on the internet doesn't really matter. If you're having fun, you do you. What do you want to happen in 2023? I absolutely just want the game to be a little bit more playable. I want solo experience to be a little bit better, and I would love to have the game just be a little bit more fun. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one.